The Battle of Galicia, also known as the Battle of Lemberg, was a major battle between Russia and Austria-Hungary during the early stages of World War I in 1914. In the course of the battle, the Austro-Hungarian armies were severely defeated and forced out of Galicia, while the Russians captured Lemberg and, for approximately 9 months, ruled eastern Galicia. Background: when war came, the Austro-Hungarian Chief of Staff Franz Conrad von Hotzendorf planned to launch an offensive into Russian Poland with his northern armies. The Russians would far outnumber the Central Powers in the east. Conrad believed that their best option was an early advance into southern Poland, where the Russians would be concentrating their newly mobilized units. Conrad knew that his German allies were committed to an offensive in the west to defeat the French in the first 10 weeks of the war. Only the German 8th Army would be in the east, where they would stand on the defensive in East Prussia. However, their alliance with the French obliged the Russians to attack the Germans promptly, so substantial Russian forces would be sent to invade East Prussia. The 1st and 4th Austro-Hungarian armies would advance into Poland without direct German support. By the 23rd of August 1914, Conrad's 1st, 3rd, and 4th armies were concentrated in Galicia along a front of 280 kilometers. He had an excellent reputation for training troops, but had never commanded a field army and was staggered by his unexpected elevation. The Russian 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 8th armies were assigned to Galicia. The Russian war plan called for Nikolai Ivanov, the Russian commander of the Southwest Front, to counter an anticipated Austro-Hungarian offensive thrusting eastward from Lemberg. The 3rd and 8th armies would mount an offensive into eastern Galicia. The Russians could bring 260 trains a day to their front, compared to the Austro-Hungarians' 152. Battles. The Austro-Hungarian First Army under Viktor Dankl was moving in the north towards Lublin. Dankl struck and drove back Baron Salz's Russian Fourth Army in what would be known as the Battle of Krasnik. Dankl's army was able to capture 6,000 prisoners. To the right of Dankl, the Offenburg's Fourth Army, aiming at Chum, drove back the Russian Fifth Army under Pavel Plev in the Battle of Komarov, capturing 20,000 prisoners and inflicting heavy casualties. However, a planned Austrian enveloping movement around the Russian army failed, as the Russians were being driven back along the northern front. The Austrian Third Army and Army Group Koves made a simultaneous advance against Ivanov's left wing. Along the southern front, Ivanov had the Russian Third Army under Nikolai Russky and the Russian Eighth Army under the capable Alexei Brusilov. Brusilov and Russky routed the Austro-Hungarians so thoroughly that even though poor roads necessitated that the Russians halt for 2 days, the Austrians could not regroup to hold the Russian drive. This attack became known as the Battle of Gniela Lipa, with the entire Third Army and Koves Group in full retreat. Conrad pulled forces away from northern front which he believed had been sufficiently defeated. In fact, the Russians north of Lemberg were still a potential threat. Ivanov ordered Plev's Fifth Army to attack and drove the Austrians back as they began to shift forces to the south in an engagement known as the Battle of Rava Ruska. The Austrian Second Army was quickly recalled from Serbia, but it was too late and the entire Austrian front collapsed in Galicia and the Russians took control of Lemberg. Results: as the Austrians retreated, many Slavic soldiers in the Austro-Hungarian army simply surrendered and some even offered to fight for the Russians. A total of some 130,000 prisoners were taken by the Russians by the time the battle subsided on September 11, while they inflicted 324,000 casualties. The Russians suffered 225,000 casualties, including 40,000 captured. The Russians had pushed the front 160 kilometers into the Carpathian Mountains, completely surrounded the Austrian fortress of Przemysl and started a siege of Przemysl which lasted for over 100 days. The battle severely damaged the Austro-Hungarian army, destroyed a large portion of its trained officers, and crippled Austria. Though the Russians had been utterly crushed at the Battle of Tannenberg, their victory at Lemberg prevented that defeat from fully taking its toll on Russian public opinion. Order of battle. Russian forces. Russian Southwestern Front. Commander-in-Chief, Nikolai Ivanov. Chief of Staff, Mikhail Alexeyev. 4th Army Commander, Anton von Salza. Grenadiers Corps 14. Corps 16. Corps. 5th Army Commander, Pavel Plevy. Corps 17. Corps 19. Corps 25. Corps. 3rd Army Commander, Nikolai Russky. Staff Officers, Vladimir Mikhailovich Dragomirov, Nikolai Dukonin, Mikhail Bonchbruvich IX. Corps X. Korshi. Corps 21. Corps. 8th Army Commander, Alexei Brusilov. Staff Officers, Anton Ivanovich Denikin. 7. Corps 8. Corps 12. Corps 24. Corps. Austro-Hungarian Forces. Army Group Kummer 7. Cavalry Division. Landsturm Forces. 1st Army Commander, Viktor Dankolai. Corps 5 and 46 Infantry Divisions v. Corps 14, 33, and 37 Infantry Divisions X. Corps 2, 24, and 45. Infantry Divisions 12. Infantry Division 3. Cavalry Division 9. Cavalry Division. 4th Army Commander, Moritz von Offenberg 2. Corps 4, 13, and 25. Infantry Divisions vi. Corps 15, 27, and 39. Infantry Divisions IX. Corps 10, and 26. Infantry Divisions 17. Corps 19. Infantry Division 6. Cavalry Division 10. Cavalry Division. 3rd Army Commander, Rudolf Brudermannschi. Corps 30. Infantry Division 14. Corps 3, and 44. Infantry Division 23. Infantry Division 41. Infantry Division 2. Cavalry Division 4. Cavalry Division. Army Group Koves 3. Corps 6, 28, and 22. Infantry Divisions 12. Corps 16, 35, and 38. Infantry Divisions 11. Infantry Division 43. Infantry Division 20. Infantry Division 1. Cavalry Division 5. Cavalry Division 8. Cavalry Division.